Hey, how's it going? JPChivalry. We're going live with Higurashi When They Cry. Kai, I guess, right? Because it's the answer arcs, so it's a different type, whole new game. But yeah, we started it this morning. We stopped at partway through chapter 2, so continue that. Not much has happened since then. Just very ordinary day. So we didn't get the box spring, so hopefully tomorrow we'll see. But if anything, wait, we're just streaming right now, which means we have to do another late night stream tomorrow because we're streaming today, but it's still Sunday. I didn't want to wait, so we're doing this now. Anyways, I think that's it. Hold on, there's something. I got a BRB. 1 second. And I'm back. Alright. Squeaky chair is gonna squeak. It's fine. Let me just check some things before we officially get started. Yeah, I finally tracked down that track that Gus was talking about. It was a good track. I had to... no, never mind. I just looked up OST question art. Then there was some guy that had all the track listing names. Then I found it. And then I found the remaster. And then, there we go. Found it. That was a good one. It's a good track. But yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we're good to start. Oh yeah, it's Sunday. Did we do the Scary Truths? I don't think we did. May 16th, yesterday's. Around 5,000 Americans, about 17 per day, suffered fatal injuries on the job in 2017. Damn. Some people will do anything to get out of work. Patrick Henry, the colonial American leader, famous for saying, "Give me liberty or give me death," owned 65 slaves when he died in 1799. Or give me just a second to come up with a new line. But irony. But anyways, that's it. We already ate breakfast. Quote unquote breakfast. It was our dinner, more specifically, broccoli beef. It's pretty good, pretty tasty. Felt that the broccoli was a little too tough, but the beef was great. And the rice was okay. maybe the fried rice that we had would be better. Anyways, let's go ahead and start by continuing the quick save. I was about to reload chapter 1, but yeah, no, we're already past that part. This is the first line. Okay. Let me move some things, maybe, probably, just a little bit closer. Squeaky chair. Taking my time before we get started into this business here. This story. Oh, yeah. You know, we gotta get comfortable. It's just the way it be. But yeah, last we left off for the story, we're playing from Shion's perspective. She escaped from a school, I want to say, right, in 1982. So I guess before the Watanagashi for that one. So before Satoshi's incident. And then, I'm guessing it'll continue into 1983. Show us her perspective from that time period. So let's see what happens. I don't think the bit about the illness is true, but his death was very sudden. The priest was busy preparing for the festival, and he'd gotten sick around that time. So I guess he died of a heart attack or something. But it's just crazy that somebody died on the day of Watanagashi again. It's the 3rd time in a row. It's unbelievable that so many people have died on the exact same day. Many people die every day, right? The coroner didn't find anything unusual about the cause of death, so nobody suspected that anything was wrong. But you're right that the whole situation is abnormal. Only the people who were likely to be cursed died on the day of the festival. There must be something behind this. Whether it's a conspiracy or a curse, there has to be. Oh, is Babby streaming? Whoops. Gotta toss up a lurk for Babby. Oh, he's doing Hollow Knight. Nice. Well, hopefully he does it. But we'll get a message of it, I'm sure. If it's done. Yeah. Shout out to Babby. And then we're good. Decided to meet up with Mion at the library near the Okonomiya train station. It's not that I don't trust Mion, but I don't want to let her know where I live. Not many people use this library, so I won't see anyone from Hinamizawa here. It's very convenient for meeting someone in secret. Like with Keiichi. After we discussed my life plan and work schedule, we moved to small talk. I've been away from this town for years. Things have changed. I asked Mion about those changes in detail in order to fill in the gaps. While talking about various things, I brought up what Uncle Yoshiro had told me about Orishiro-sama's curse. Even before I left town, the curse had already struck twice. The dismemberment murder in the first year left quite an impact. And the year after, the pro-dam activist couple fell off the cliff on the day the villagers were enjoying their first Botanagashi festival since the dam project was indefinitely frozen. This one also left quite the impact. The evil construction site manager was punished, and the next year the traitor to the village... What is this? This isn't the theme. Met the same fate. If it happened only once, people would have concluded that it was just a bizarre coincidence. But when it happened 2 years in a row, people were far more likely to believe it was a curse. I know up to that part. After I left town, the curse struck again for the third time. People talked about the curse more intensely than ever, both in Hinamizawa and Okonomiya. I have to rethink this. Orishiro-sama's curse has drastically gained credibility while I was away. It was still unclear with the first two incidents, but after it continued for 3 years straight, people's doubts changed to convictions. Even though the priest who died in the third year wasn't an enemy of the villagers, the fact that people in Hinamizawa didn't care for him much added even more credibility to the idea. Wasn't the priest hated by a few, especially by the committee members? Yeah, they criticized him for being a fence setter. Toward the end of the dam conflict, the protesters were all taking aggressive stances, so they didn't like how soft he was being. The priest had looked strict and scary. The way he spoke was always so formal, but in reality he was very warm and reserved. Maybe it was because he was a son-in-law, having married into his family. I'm sure the priest and his personality were the perfect fit for managing the shrine that was used for summer festivals and village meetings. But that gathering spot style atmosphere of the shrine changed completely when the dam war broke out and became the headquarters for the Onagafuchi Guardians. So it's not Onagafuchi Defense Alliance? Prior to the dam protests, hardly anyone worshipped Orishiro-sama. Of course, the devout elders paid worship to him, but the average person treated our god like how you treat fortune-telling. Once the dam protests began, Orishiro-sama was suddenly hauled out as the symbol of the village's resistance. Tracing the Orishiro-sama faith back to its roots, it was an exclusive, elitist faith that believed its members were descended from a holy ancestor, different from the masses at the foot of a mountain, and that those tainted masses should never come near the village. Of course, such self-centered ideology wasn't acceptable anymore in peaceful post-war Japan, so this doctrine was abandoned over time. Still, that idea remained, and they trudged it back up to fan the flames of nationalism and unite the town against the dam project. With the revival of those ideas, things only grew more radical by the day, and it didn't take very long for the Onagafuchi Guardians to become aggressive. After that, we were in a state of war. 100 million, burning as one, Kill the white savages. What want not but victory. Adults and kids both were gnawing at the bit of it to repel the foreign invaders. Describing it like that makes it sound kind of awful, like a reminder of the dark times of wartime Japan. But like I said before, for us kids, it felt less like a war and more like a village-wide festival. Yet despite calling it a festival, the senators were treated coldly. Their heartlessness lived up to the expression wartime regime. The Hojo couple who voiced their acceptance of their dam project in the midst of that atmosphere were truly brave. Then on the second year of the curse, they died in an accident. And everyone believed it was Oyoshi-Osamu's curse without question. So they were branded traitors and enemies of the village. The Hojo couple faced worse than just being ostracized as traitors. Everyone gave them the cold shoulder and talked behind their backs. The only person who didn't treat them badly was the priest. While the priest never objected to the anti-dam movement, he also never objected to the Hojo couple's advocacy for accepting the government's eviction and restitution to rebuild new lives. Those unforgivable Hojos became a slogan as the three families, especially the Sonozakis, united the village by turning them into scapegoats. So they must have found it very shameful to have a fellow member of the three families approve of that, especially when it was the priest of the shrine that had become a symbol for the dam protests. As central figures in Hinamizawa, the three families were the backbones of the Onigafuchi Guardians, so a difference of opinion was undesirable, and the priest was never accused of anything. But secretly, people whispered that he was a heretic, that he was unfit to serve as Oyoshi-Osamu's priest, that Oyoshi-Osamu's curse would soon strike him down, along with other rumors. Don't you think the priest was more mature than those around him? He was pretty cool, managing to keep his head and remain neutral while everyone around him grew fervent. I thought Mion would share my opinion when I chimed back in. So when Mion gave me a forced smile and didn't agree with me, I was taken by surprise. If he were really mature, I think he would have cooperated with the others. He should have appeased them. He wasn't just the head priest, he was also the head of the Furude family. That was a time when all of Hinamizawa needed to be united, so having one of the families who are supposed to serve as examples to serve that harmony was... I don't know if that should be called mature. It's hard for me to tell. I was taken aback. I barely managed to say the following. To say the following. Even though we're identical twins, we still had our own unique identities. Every now and then our opinions differed, but usually only over some trivial matter. We never had a difference of opinion this big. It wasn't an enjoyable feeling, so I had to probe her some more. But I don't really like that word you used, appease. What are you trying to say? You saying the priest should have thought of the village as a whole and kept his opinions as a secret? Meaning people shouldn't assert the self before the whole? I'm not going that far. It's just, I thought that as a member of the three families, he should have acted more carefully. That's what I mean. Mion faltered a bit as my tone grew more like a cross-examination. I realized I was speaking a bit too harshly. What Mion expressed was probably the more mature opinion on our scale. When everyone needs to work together to stand up to a vast enemy like the government, people should refrain from actions that would destabilize that alliance. Writing it out and reading it now, I can understand that. But I wasn't mature enough to agree to such a totalitarian idea. Maybe it wasn't me at all. It was Mion who'd made that mature judgment. We've been separated for over a year. I've been away from the town. In the meantime, Mion has been training to take over the headship of the Sonozaki family. She had been treated as such even before I was confined to that institution. She sat next to the hag in ceremonies and in meetings. She took her place when the hag was absent. But that was just it. We were never that different. Mion has become very like a successor since I've been gone. You sound like a grown-up now. She seemed to get what I was implying. Am I thinking like Granny now? Mamma mia, hello, mi hoi manoi, Magikarp ahoy, yar couscous alakazam. Ham, are you casting an incantation of some sort? How's it going, Ham? How's your rest? Did you get rest? Am I thinking like Granny now? That's good. You're the successor. You shouldn't think like the rest. You definitely learned the art of ruling. I never learned anything like that. I'm just trying to act like her. You can do it easily, too. I don't want to. It's your role. Well, don't try too hard or you'll tire yourself out. Didn't mean to be cold, but Mion seemed to take it that way. She smiled as if trying to pacify me. I smiled gently back at her. Sis. I mean, Mion. What? What is it? Our separation has always been tough. Our names, the places where we live, and our bodies. Mion looked down with a serious face, but then looked right back up. I'm good. Early morning for me today because I had to go to campus to drop a library book. Ah, gotcha. Don't get those late fees. Oh yeah, did you check out the Terraria update? What did you think? I don't think I'm gonna play it. Well, I mean, I do like journey mode, so I do want to play that at some point. But I think I'm done. I think I'm done with master mode, which is fine. It's okay. We had fun. We did it 2 times already. Don't need to do a third. I did just start journey mode. Nice. Journey mode seems alright. Okay with it. Maybe you think I'm jealous of that, but I'm not. We used to have some disagreements, but they were always small and forgettable. You don't have to feel sorry for anything. Up until birth, we were perfectly equal. Right after birth, we were separated by the grown-ups' priorities. I used to get mad about it when I was little. There's no denying that. You don't have to start a disagreement over it. Mion seems to understand what I'm trying to say. We each have our own characteristics, even though we're identical twins. Only we know the differences. We're also dependent on each other because of them. Mion seems more dependent. She always worries about me. If somebody gave her a cookie, she'd divide it into 2 and give 1/2 to me. If somebody gave her candy, she'd wait until I said it was okay to eat it. On the contrary, I'm cold. I don't care about others if I'm satisfied. I'd put the candy in my mouth right away. I have to emphasize that I don't hate her, and I'm well aware that she loves me. Might do a final playthrough, just to collect some items. Gotcha. Well, there is 1,000 new items, right? So there's new stuff to collect. I did see what the final sword looks like, and it's pretty epic. it's well designed. It's fantastic. We both know that. Mion must have been hesitating to put the candy of the successor in her mouth, and was waiting to see if I was okay with that. Do your best, Mion. I'll do my best to Shion too. Tapped her forehead with my fist lightly. Mion put her forehead against my fist, as if trying to feel the warmth. She's Mion, and I'm Shion. She's the successor of the Sonozaki family, and I'm just a vagabond. That isn't a distinction, but rather our individuality. We shouldn't worry too much about the other anymore. We should feel relaxed, living as who we are, with our own characteristics. I didn't have to say any of that out loud. We can communicate by touch, just like this. Okay. Thanks, Shion. No worries, Mion. Let's talk to each other whenever we want to, like we've always been. That'll never change, okay? Okay. Okay. BRB, JP, Cat's Wildin'. Gotcha. Thanks for stopping by, Ham. Take care of those cats. Mion kept nodding, with her forehead against my fist. Must be nice to have a twin. I said goodbye to Mion before it turned evening. We had talked about the things that happened during my time away, and I enjoyed having that chat between sisters very much. We were able to dissolve our unsettled emotions. We didn't used to do that. Maybe it's because we hadn't seen each other for over a year. Kind of forgot when I brushed my teeth. Now I'm like, what time is it? 22 minutes. It's lightened by 9:30. Should be able to brush. Phew. It was late afternoon. My heart felt lighter now. I stretched and looked up at the sky. The sky was clear, blue, and far away. No matter how tall I grow, I'll never be able to touch that sky. I'm Shion Sonozaki, girl who escaped from the life she was forced to live. Nobody will praise me for what I did and for what I'm going to do. But this is what I chose. Aha, I can think maturely too. I psych myself up. I should go shopping for dinner. Though I have Kasai's help, I need to save money. I love junk food, but it'd be cheaper to cook. Ironically, the culinary classes from that evil school will come in handy. I want to go to the shopping district in Kami-ishiki. If I'm going there, then I need to take the other street. The cold breeze in the late afternoon felt nice on my skin. Kasai came to the door while I was putting stuff I brought into the fridge. Ah, wait a sec. I'm coming. Did you go grocery shopping? You must be tired. I don't get tired from grocery shopping. Oh, do you want dinner? About enough for you too. Is that alright? If you say so, I'd be happy to. Kasai looked curious about what I'd cook. Huff. You don't look like you believe in my cooking skills. You'll pay for that later. Are you putting these in the refrigerator? I'll do it. Oh, thanks. Is this amount of rice enough for two? Here I go. Kasai skillfully packed food in the fridge while glancing at each item in turn. You noticed something. Shion-san, do you still hate canned food? I hadn't bought any. That was, of course, on purpose. Must be hard to avoid it. I know it's illogical. Maybe I could eat it if somebody forced me to. No, on second thought, I definitely couldn't. I feel really sorry. No, I was out of line then. Whoa, Tom. Wait. Where's the alert? Tom, thanks for the... Oh, right. I know what I did. Okay, right. Tom, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Right. Because of the spam. I raised the limit for the alert to appear. I forgot. That's fine. We can do that. Can we not? I guess we can't. So any... Okay. I'll have to fix that later. Yeah, thank you, Tom, for the bits. Should fix that later. I feel really sorry. I know I was out of line then. Please forget about that story. Ah, shut up. Men shouldn't hang around in the kitchen. Go watch TV or something. Kasai chuckled and left. I know this sounds stupid, but I hate canned food. If somebody told me there was canned food in a meal I just ate, I'd throw up. It started with a silly thing. Kasai told me a horror story when I was little. You know, one of those urban legends? About meat made from an unknown source? Like those rumors about how there's worm meat mixed in burger patties or dog meat in beef bowls? Kasai had fun telling me one of those stories because of how scared I got. He had fun, but I obviously didn't. I even started to cry in the canned food section of the supermarket. So much I hated it. I don't freak out like that anymore. I think after the visual novels, we'll lower that. Because, yeah, I can't have spam. But yeah, thank you, Tom. It's unfortunate, but yeah. I don't freak out like that anymore, but I still don't like canned food. Since I don't like it, I don't force myself, and I now live my life naturally avoiding canned food. One of the big differences between us twins is that Mion doesn't have this issue. Kasai feels responsible for this, but he can't rid me of that fear. Still, a flaw like this is actually a good thing, otherwise I'd be too perfect. Kasai, set the table, would you? It smells good. Thank you for doing this. If this isn't enough food, you can go to a beef bowl place later or something. Don't turn off the TV. I hate having dinner in silence. I don't mind, actually. Thank you for the meal. So, what is it, Kasai? That's weird that the music just stopped. You came here for something, didn't you? I handed him a cup of tea. I could wait until dinner was over, but I wanted to get to the point quick. Thought I should wait until we finished, but... Would you mind if I talked while eating? It's been bugging me since you got here. It'd be much easier for me to eat if you started talking now. You received a phone call from the school today. Today? That's late. Sounds like they didn't want to make it public. So what happened? Kane-san took the call. She said she was going to tell your father when the time is right. Kane-san is my mom. That's what Kasai calls her, as he's known her since before her marriage. So, what did she say? I was lucky she answered the phone, since she's relatively on my side. Other than calling you a brat, she didn't seem surprised by this outcome. I see. So she hasn't told Dad yet. She's probably waiting for the right moment. I think she's going to in a couple days. Dad is on the hag side, so he'll definitely talk to her if he hears about it. Then she'll have her men bring me to her, and depending on my explanation, make me offer a finger or two. Scary. I wish you could laugh it off, but please remember you're not the only one who... Ouch. Ha 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 ha. You're eating too fast. I cooked too much rice and miso soup, so you have to have another round. At least 3 helpings, alright? That much. A few days later, Mion told me that the hag had heard about my escape. So, how did she take it? She was furious. She said that if you were in Okonomiya, she'd get you right away. Scary. And? Is Dad doing anything? They'll hold a family council soon to see if any of the family members are hiding you. Doesn't look like she'll have the greenhorn search for you all over town, though. Holding a family council means that things will remain in the hag's hands alone. She won't search town for me. It's like she's unofficially approving my presence. Of course, I'll get caught immediately if they find me in a large public place. Seems like Mom did a lot to help me. I can tell she's being supportive. It's a long story, but my mom is sort of an outlaw, even though she's of the Sonozaki bloodline. Long time ago, she had a huge fight with the hag because she hated the family rules and traditions. She was even excommunicated. Whoa. My mom was supposed to be the successor, but she was deprived of the title and Sis took her place instead. Well, she's quiet now. Mion's still an outlaw. Or Mom's still an outlaw. She's always been on my side, because I also hate rules and traditions. Dad was flaring up at first, but Mom pacified him. Can't win against her, after all. Okay, thanks. Let me know if something comes up. If things really go bad, I'm ready to leave town. Can't let Kasai, Uncle Yoshiro, or Mom lose face. Sis, I know what you're thinking. You're asking yourself why only I have to go through this, even though we're twins, aren't you? Mion was silent. That meant yes. It isn't fair that only you have to live like this. It's absolutely not. Thanks. I appreciate your feelings. Tell me when you want to go out. I'll arrange my plans so that I can trade places with you. She sounded apologetic. I shouldn't go quiet, or agree with her. She sticks to things a little too much. Once she goes down, she'll stay there for a while. So, I just told her simply, thanks. It's really nice of you. Okay, I'm hanging up now. Talk to you later. Set the chapter. So fast. Man, I could have... Then, yeah, I could have really continued. Interesting. A smudged diary. Okay. Hello, sister. Was it canned food? Okay. Satoko was crying while hiding behind my back. She's been crying while clinging onto me, so my back was wet with her tears and snot. My aunt had been screaming hysterically, but she looked tired now. Oh, it's Satoshi's. I suddenly realized that it was already past 1 in the morning. She vomited out a series of screams one last time, then finally called it quits. Satoko seemed exhausted. She was looking down in a state of shock. Even after my aunt walked away, she didn't realize she had been freed. So I stroked her head and told her, "It's over, Satoko." Satoko twitched. Her eyes grew bright again, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She looked up at my face. She knew it was over, but wanted to hear it directly from me. She begged me with a look. To be honest, I was really exhausted too. So I felt a bit annoyed when she tried to make me say it. But I needed to pacify her. So I gently told her what she wanted to hear. She's done with her scolding, so let's go to sleep. Alright? Satoko clung to me while her tears continued to fall. She was crying again, silently. Satoko was shivering pitifully. Her small back reminded me that there was nobody else to protect her. Here, go brush your teeth and make your bed. And go to sleep. Satoko smiled faintly and nodded. I felt dizzy. As I was released from the strain, a harsh drowsiness fell upon me. While Satoko was washing her face, I went to the toilet. I zoned out while watching my pee. In my dizziness, I almost missed the shot. Felt like I was being sucked into the toilet. I couldn't even remember what caused it. Why did my aunt start screaming today? Okay. Go ahead and save. Let's continue. Oh, hey. It's a very quiet afternoon, as always. Oh. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. Is it, Berkey? Okay. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today I shuttle between shops and my home. I got this, I got that. Oh wait, isn't it a 100 yen sale today? I forgot this. Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. It felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow. What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave it a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all felt like dominoes. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. Didn't realize that the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. So it's the same guys as before. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on. The fuck are you? The fuck are you, bitch? What you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. Rah, gonna pay for what you did. Whoa. They can't really talk properly. Didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their England tongue into normal human words in order to understand. They were very upset because he knocked down our motorcycles. We should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. Yeah, that's probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that. Sorry. I don't think I can continue interpreting. What you saying? I know what they're trying to say. But somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there were no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it must also be God's will. But God, you can use me to punish these guys, but how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid in this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good doing it. They had too many disadvantages. First, there was the differences in gender and the number of people. Even if I did something wrong, as men, shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Added to that, there were 3 of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea. And on top of that, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So this is a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me to this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out about this situation. Huh? You listening or not? I knew how slim their chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they had picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Sonozaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okunomiya. Soon enough, the people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather around. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. The punks didn't know this area well. If they did, they'd have known how silly it was to rob Neon. Plus, the alleyway isn't always as empty as they assumed. This side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This is a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me, or lift me up by my collar, they weren't actually going to result to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining the ladies' first mindset. But as a wicked person, I want to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I want to paint them as even more villainous, and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I'd only need to act as the poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately, because they'd get nervous and drop back. If it were a truly threatening situation, that would work, but I needed something different here. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? Eventually, I'd start trembling, my voice would fade, and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving into fear. Mion and I are probably the only ones who are capable of pulling that kind of stuff off. And I bet you thought I wouldn't be awake at this hour, so you'd be safe from my smuggus. JP, you fool! Hey Gus, how's it going? Did you see that I found the song? I'll put it in Discord. Well, I'm probably better than her. Why don't you let me go now? What? You did? How? You see, I went to my neighbor's house and he said, did you know that Nobu Yumatsu did the soundtrack for this? But he did it under the alias of Rindo Kobayashi. And then you just look up Rindo Kobayashi and then there you go. Sorry, that was a little random. No, I just looked up the OST for the question arcs, and then I went through that whole playlist, found the track name, and then sure enough, they used the same track name for the remaster. So there you go. What? Why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes. By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. I feel sorry for them. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. That way, they blatantly look like they're picking on a helpless girl. Please, forgive me. What you doing? I spent like 4 hours going through anything with the name Higurashi and I didn't find it. Yeah, I don't know. I got better Google Foo, Gus. I'm sorry. What you doing? What's with this girl, huh? I don't. Ooh. Maybe you should apologize like that from the start. Looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment. Cut it out. Don't you see her crying? Stop it. A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks. What the hell? Who the fuck are ye? Back the fuck off. Rah! The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were worthless. So much so that I've missed the end of the stream where I said I was looking for it and in shame vowed not to return to the next stream until I found it, so I could be smug. Yeah, it was after my stream this morning. That's when I found it. Sorry, guys. I win this round. But the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was going into a dangerous situation. He didn't hesitate. Fucking say something. Why don't you answer us? He must have wanted to shout back at them. But he probably never used that kind of language in his life, so he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might have not even known what to say, so he just kept on glaring at them, to let them know that he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just lost for words in his fear. But I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit, kicked, and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew it was his victory. In the end, local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. Hey, so that's Satoshi. He smiled when our eyes met and asked me if I was alright. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though. How could you step into a fight you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. I hesitated at first. He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away. But instead he worked up the courage and stepped in. What? What? That was reckless, not brave. Always blushing. You're being a little harsh, Mion. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. Oh, right, because he went to school with Is that part of the end OST? This one? The song? Or... You mean the other one? Higurashi no Naku Kordoni? The other song. The other song is part of the VN OST. So I just looked up. I think I typed in Higurashi and then the chapter name. And then that brought up a playlist that's like Higurashi question arcs. And then I just went through that whole playlist. And it turns out it was the last song in the playlist, so of course that was fun. And then I just typed in the track name of that song. And then there was the remastered version. The one I posted in Discord. We smart. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. At least I got to find out the other track names for the ones that I did like. Did I go through the answer arc? Maybe? It's possible. If it had Kai in the title, then that was the answer arc. Thank you. I saw you crying. No, I wasn't crying. That was just an act. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Hey, you don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I'd cry? No. Nobody believed me on Sonozaki would cry when punks bullied her. Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I'd never cry. I believe you, I do. I realized one thing. You must be one of Sis's friends. You didn't seem to realize I'm her twin. You thought I was Mion with a different hairstyle. Mion and I had to live separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okunomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her. So it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. Squeak. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. Wouldn't be good if he thought he saw Mion look like an Okunomiya. So I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks. Well, I was just relieved because you seem to have a girly side after all. You sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that? I thought you kicked those guys' butts with some crazy martial arts. So I was really surprised when you just started crying. Hey, like I said, I was acting. Weren't you listening at all? He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it as if stroking a kitten. I can remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it had been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. Didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Oops. Okay, so I went through the one with the Kai at the end. Well, that's, you know, it's okay. It happens. So many dots. Hey, are you making fun of me? I started in embarrassment. He looked calm, as if he was just used to doing this. Whatever. Aren't you glad, though? Glad? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get hurt. He smiled while he kept stroking my head. His smile looked divine. Not like this. It's all good, Gus. You'll win next time. He wasn't gonna stay for long. He'd already saved me from those guys, after all. Thank you, JP. No problem. Well, I need to be going, so I should head off now. Okay. I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he just saved a friend from danger. He wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must be friends who knew each other well, so I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked as refreshing as a clear blue sky. This time, he smiled a bit mischievously. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody you were crying. Well, nobody would believe it if I told them anyway. Nobody would ever believe that our invincible class president cried. He patted the dust off his butt once again. Walked back to the sunny main road, away from the dark alley. Then he turned around. See you. In school tomorrow, I mean. Yeah. See you in school. He disappeared into the brightly lit street. I couldn't continue to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. That was the first time I met Satoshi-kun. But I did find this banger. Oh, I'm not even allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook, page 5. I'm afraid to click off the screen. Okay. Did I find this banger? Which one? Oh yeah, there's that one. That's a good one. Dancer 7. So that's the... Okay, yeah, that's the original one. I don't think that's the remaster. I think that same YouTube guy, the one from what I posted on Discord, that guy should have the remasters. Okay, yeah, Dancer 7. That's a good one. That's a banger. Much different than Dancers 5. The other track that I liked was Fascism. That's from chapter 2, I think. And there's a couple gentle, pleasant songs as well, just like this one. Had no idea how many of these games there were. Oh yeah. Right, because there's the main 8, and then there's like some spin-offs. I think there's 8 more spin-offs. So... and then there's some animes that are spin-offs. I was just blind searching for Higurashi visual novels. No, yeah, there's a lot. Not like this. It's a difficult task. But we did it. You got overwhelmed. We did it. We found it, though. That must be Satoshi. He looks like what you described, and he has a habit of stroking people's heads. Uh-huh. His name is Satoshi-kun, eh? The boy from earlier is called Satoshi Hojo-kun. Mion said that he's always daydreaming. So she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. Uh-huh. He has a little sister? Yeah. Her name is Satoko. She's funny. And shrewd. But is quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch. But things have been rough for her lately. So she's feeling a bit down. Sister came up naturally in the conversation. Tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he stroked my head came back to me. Must have been blushing. She likes him. Hello? Shion? Eh? Sorry. I'm here, I'm listening. To start, I hear Satoko's on bad terms with her aunt. Satoshi's mature... Oh, okay. Okay, I got confused. The was Shion. Satoshi's mature, so he knows how to conduct himself, but when bad things happen, Satoko really lets herself go. What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me that the parents of Satoshi-kun and his little sister are dead. Satoshi-kun and Satoko are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Satoko entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me the most is the fact that Satoshi-kun's parents were the Hojo couple who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance that uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year too. Women can be really nasty bullies. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. I think the answer 7 is from chapter 3. Right? It's so good. It is. I like this. On top of that, wait, even if it's a kid, on top of that, women tend to care less about propriety than men. As a result, Satoko seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi-kun bravely protecting his little sister, just like when he saved me. So, he must be exhausted too, right? Huh? He must be covering for Satoko all the time. So wouldn't you normally assume that he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. Did I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling, because he's always wearing that blank look, so she never considered it. How can she be that insensitive even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. Well, anyway, what does he usually do? He looks smart, so does he read a lot of books? Yeah, you're right. Likes to read. He's now reading what's it called? I continued asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, and what he thinks about. I asked Sis all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I'd ever been that interested in somebody. Didn't want to admit that I had feelings like that. Did I fall in love just because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. I'm stupid. What am I doing, stroking my own head? Sis, I'm done for. I became stupid. What? Why are you laughing? In that weird voice. You wouldn't understand this feeling, Sis. When would I see him again? I felt as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter. Damn. Poor Mion. The life I lived really was beginning to suffocate me. I couldn't go out freely, and I always had to make arrangements with Mion before going to work. I thought my life would improve after escaping from school, but in reality it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long. Without any friends to hang out with, I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of now was Satoshi Hojo-kun's face. I'd only met him briefly, but my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. It felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I was hyped up like a little kid. Move over here. Okay. The more I thought about it, I realized I'd been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. Felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. Then, out of the blue, got a chance to see him again. Hold on. Oh? Saw a familiar face at twilight in the park. He was sitting on the swing. A crush? A crush. He looked like he was zoning out, maybe deep in thought. He didn't notice me, even though I was right in front of him. I remind myself to speak and act like Mion before talking to him. Hey, what are you doing here? Mion, you surprised me. You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple minutes now. Didn't you notice me? Have you? Sorry, I didn't. He smiled self-derisively and shrugged. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help. No, that's okay. Come on, I owe you one from before, Satoshi-kun. Or maybe you don't think this old man can be of any help? Don't you know how mighty I am? I'm okay. You don't have to help me. Huh? What is it then? Are you saying that you don't need help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed up my cheeks in a sulky gesture. That's a pout, for sure. Satoshi-kun noticed that and smiled. No, Mion. It's just I messed up my swing when they needed me the most. I mentally rifled through all the information about Satoshi-kun that Sis had given me. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi-kun belongs to a junior baseball team. They're called the Hinamizawa Fighters. I doubt he was very skilled since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced all that from what Sis told me, and carefully chose my words so as to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that? Hey, it's not that easy to get over Mion. It's not that easy to get over Mion. I pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi-kun would probably call me insensitive. I knew I should listen to him rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis was probably the wrong thing to do in this case, but I had no choice. This is just how I should react in this situation. Hold on. Let me do a 5-minute BRB real quick. I know, this is a bad time, but you know. BRB. I was about to hyper wow wee. Oh man. Alright, we're fine. Speaking of hyper wow wee, I guess I should get that next time. So I can. I mean, do I need that? I don't. Nah, it's fine. instead of feeling down, you should practice even harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect here. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly you're willing to pull some tricks, then I might be able to help you in a few ways. There's no point if I cheat. Huh. Satoshi-kun hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in that gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi-kun grinned and said yes. Of course, that'd be wonderful, but that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right? This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't be the best at it. Ahaha. Let me check something too. Okay. Humph. Hahaha. That really sounds like you, Mion. Having realized that, I'm trying to make him feel better. He laughed along. It's still raining. It's still raining over there? I think it's raining in Chicago too. That's what my sibling was saying. I decided to watch There Will Be Blood because of the rain. You said the plants are okay, right? Well, hope the power doesn't go out. Tried to make him feel better. He laughed along. He didn't look depressed anymore. I guess he was just feeling down because of the game. He wasn't as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park. You always put forth your best effort to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is. He smiled gently and stood up. Then he started stroking my head. All of a sudden, I totally wasn't prepared for that. Eh? Whoa. I thought this when he did this last time, but how can he stroke somebody's head so easily? I felt like I had turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came to mind. My face must have been red. I felt embarrassed, but also like I was in heaven. Satoshi-kun stroked me as though petting a cat. I was blushing with my eyes closed. I felt helpless, like a girl being treated by the dentist with her mouth open and her eyes shut. Satoshi-kun didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. Didn't seem to care. I hate him. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. Wait. What? Oh, okay. All the plants are chilling in my living room in the most haphazard arrangement possible. Gotcha. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. He suddenly withdrew his hand. At least they're safe. Need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I have to go grocery shopping. Okay. My voice faltered. I was so embarrassed. I'm going shopping, too. What? You are? I thought the maids did all your household stuff. Shoot. Messed up. In the main Sonozaki house, the maids do everything. Therefore, Mion hardly goes grocery shopping, and she's bragged to some people about that. Should have known better. Still, it wouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem? That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing boring stuff like that. You talk too much. Oh, stop stroking my head. Satoshi-kun seemed to be having fun with how embarrassed I'd get when he petted me. Anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to really care about the details. While walking with Satoshi-kun in the shopping district of Kami-Ishiki, it suddenly occurred to me. The bong sound is just blush. Why had I messed up? I'd known Mion would never go grocery shopping. What an amateurish mistake. Just caught off guard. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mion? No. I was probably speaking as Shion. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I had to just admit it. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi-kun as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attracted to him. I found something intriguing in my boring life. I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was somebody else. Etc., etc. His easygoing nature made him fun to be around. and his habit of petting people on the head was fun too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing the feeling of love. I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him. I was just having fun. I could simply spend some fun time with Satoshi-kun without having to think too much. Man. Which one is broccoli? The green one? Or the yellow one? That's cauliflower, Satoshi-kun. Hey, could it be that you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either? Not that bad. I'm doing my best here. The green one or the yellow one? Satoshi-kun stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, he reached out for the wrong one. That's not it. Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though. Ha 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 ha. You got me. Stoko can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli and which one is cauliflower? You guys are too funny. Seta told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. Hadn't met Satoko, but she must be having a tough time dealing with Satoshi-kun. Stumbles over everything and buys, after all. There it is. That's cooking salt. It's mixed with pepper. It's different from regular salt. Oh, is it? I think I saw salt and pepper separate in a science experiment once. Stop making excuses and just put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next? Oh, that's not over. Okay. You're being a great help, Mia. Lewd thoughts. You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more. That's a little harsh. There. Is this it? In it goes. That's not it. Don't just throw anything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it is first. My first impression of Satoshi-kun was that he was strong and reliable. But the more I spoke to him, the more surprised I was at how clumsy and unreliable he was. How do I put it? It was hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light is red? Or was it green? And he'd get himself run over by a dump truck, sweat drop. Your total is 1780 yen. Do you have a member's card? Huh? Oh yes, I do. Huh? Where is it? Oh, sorry. We can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright for today. I finished checking out, ignoring Satoshi-kun as he fished through his wallet full of receipts. That was horrible, Mion. You made me waste points. Don't go slowly fishing through your wallet to look for your member's card in the middle of the evening shopping rush. There was a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from all the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should get it out before reaching the register. Oh, right. That's good to know. It's not only when you go shopping. The same thing goes for when you ride a bus. Satoshi-kun, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change until you're about to get off and have to pay while holding up everyone behind you. No, everyone walks by me and pays their own fare. Ha! You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have the money out beforehand. That's just good manners. Do you get it? Yeah. This is bringing back memories that are unpleasant, but it's fine. Okay. You're scary today, Mion. Satoshi-kun smiled as if patronizing me. Huh. I couldn't believe it. He's definitely the type who made it. Women want to protect him. Sure, he was fine as he was when he had a busybody like me around him, but I couldn't stop worrying whether he was able to function in society without someone like that nearby. We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi-kun put a pack of tofu at the bottom of the bag. I slapped his hand and put in a milk carton instead. Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens this shopping bag in her kitchen. Thanks. You helped me a lot. It's not unpleasant, it's just a cringe. Because, you know, relatable. You helped me a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping. Just shopping. That's definitely not the only thing. Just kidding. I realized a few things while spending time with him today. It's not just bad at shopping. He's also chronically clumsy. In general, you could call him a slow thinker. That meant when he stepped into the quarrel with the punks, he must have needed a lot of courage. He might be a simpleton, but he's not stupid. He's aware of his weakness. So he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. He could have chosen to walk away even though I was in trouble. But he chose to be a man and stepped in. That was really admirable of him. Good boy. You did a great job. There. What is it? Don't stroke my head. I'm rewarding you for shopping successfully today. There. You're making fun of me, aren't you, Mion? No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there? You are making fun of me. Satoshi-kun's sulky face flushed red. He's just too cute. At that point, I caught a glimpse of a billboard from the corner of my eye. Piano lessons. Call Abacus class. Junior baseball team. Members wanted. It was a posting for the team Satoshi-kun belonged to. It showed the day, time, and place of their next practice. By then I knew just how flaky he was. I figured he must be just the same when playing baseball. I have no idea what you said because it's not well looking at the artwork of fantasy Japanese and Chinese castles. I've been a feudal Japan China kick recently. Okay. Don't worry about it, Gus. Don't go back in the VOD and see my reaction. Fantasy Japanese and Chinese castles? Nice. Just thinking back to Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors. All the strongholds there. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. I know what you're thinking. I hope you won't come to see me playing baseball. Mion. Am I right? What does that mumbling mean? I want to visit one? It would be pretty nice. I wonder how tall they are, or how big. I know I'm right. What does that mumbling mean? I know I'm right. That pouring Corona. Just gotta save up. Hope you won't come and see me. I know I'm right. So he's the one that's going home. Satoshi-kun became quiet. After mumbling something. It seemed like he couldn't say anything back since I had been right on the money. Satoshi-kun, you're just too cute. I don't think going silent is a good way to dodge the issue. Well, that might have just been the way innocent people like him would react in a situation like that. See you, Satoshi-kun. It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back. Aren't you going home, Mion? To Hinamizawa? I have to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me. I'll help you this time, in return. I'm okay. What are you gonna help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before you try to help me. You're really mean today. He seemed to have some pride, at least. He looked a bit upset because he was teased by a girl. But in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up. Thank you for the help. That was sweet of you. Whoa. While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head again. I know he's teasing me, but... I can't reject him. Keeps doing it only because he's realized I won't resist. Oh... Tim Curry smile. See you, Mion. Should go home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow. Yeah. See you in school tomorrow, too. In fact, it wouldn't seem tomorrow at all. It felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After I separated from him, I found myself giddy and wishing to see him again as soon as possible. I wanted to know more about him. I couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there was something I could do. Just like when I obtained my freedom from St. Lucius, I could choose how to live my life. Whatever, it wasn't that complicated. I just wanted to tease him more. I wanted him to stroke my head more. And, whatever. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. Got new tips. A hopeless pear. Broccoli. So, crumpled diary. Seems like we're going by these chapters pretty quickly. But I guess it'll get longer as we go to the present day. Crumpled diary. My aunt finally stopped her hysterical screaming. Today was just... Is that the water bottle? It is. Today was just like any other day. Can't remember what set her off. Whatever it was, she changed subjects constantly anyway. Didn't matter. She went on past midnight again. The urge to sleep was pounding the back of my head. Once Toko had been able to relax, she fell down in the spot and started sleeping, still clinging to my sleeve. I carried Satoko to the bedroom and laid out her futons. Here, Satoko. Futon's ready. So get in, okay? Satoko crawled in like a worm. She stopped moving once she was inside. I wish I could go to bed too. But I couldn't. My aunt asked me to do some chores. I had to get toothpaste after school tomorrow. I had to write it down somewhere. I had to make rice for lunch tomorrow. I set the timer. Right. I also had to repile the towels in the bathroom. That was the reason for today's scolding. My aunt will get mad if everything isn't done the way she wants. I've also been listening to those 4-hour-long YouTube videos of traditional Chinese music. It's been soothing. Oh, nice. Traditional Chinese music. Kind of picture it, maybe? We haven't think of Japanese. Chill. Johnny K. Chill. Oh, and there's something else. I was working at the grocery store the next day. They wanted me to bring an apron. Did we even have an apron in this house? Never seen one. My aunt will be sleeping when I go to school, so I won't have time to ask her. What should I do? Since Mion helped me get that job, I don't want to screw it up. In that case, why don't I ask Mion about it at school? She might lend me one. Is there anything else? I was envious of Satoko because she got to go to bed. It's pathetic that I felt that way. Felt envious. So let me move this over here. Let's do a refresh. This is pleasant. Alright, let's continue. I wanted to see what it would transition into. No, that did not disappoint. Alright, what time is it? 1:20? Okay. We didn't really take a 5-minute break earlier, so I think at 2-hour mark, we'll do the official. The real deal! Oh my god, JP, my spacebar is broken, so it keeps getting sucked down. Oh no. Is it time for a new keyboard? So let me, push that. There we go. Hey there! How are you guys doing in the heat? Oh, it's Coach. Oh, Mion's-san. We're doing good. Is that our refreshment? Thanks a bunch. You're such a great manager. I just felt like coming here. I didn't bring this for you, by the way. Don't treat me as your manager without my permission, please. We'd be a stronger team if you were our manager, Mion. Why don't you apply? As manager, I mean. Sochi-kun smiled at me in a carefree manner. I didn't want to become their manager. It'd be tiresome. I've been coming every week, though, so I'm a quasi-manager already. So how is it that Shion becomes manager? I guess we'll see. We'll figure it out. Also, chair. Well, if I feel like it. Anyway, how's Toshi-kun doing, Coach? Is his batting average improving? Yes, he's doing fine. His batting average is, well, if you buy 3 packs of rice crackers at 7 Smart. Does that mean it's 30%? Wow, you're doing great, Satoshi-kun. It's not just about the number, Mia. I have to be able to hit the ball when it really counts. It's good that you're aware of your weaknesses, Satoshi-kun. You just continue working on them for now. ADA signaled to the pitcher, who then threw the ball. Satoshi-kun looked calm, following the ball with his eyes, then he swung. The whack! The ball flew between the first and second bases and landed in the distance. Wow, that's great. Good job, Satoshi-kun. I clapped and Satoshi-kun blushed in response. He repositioned his helmet to hide his face. Well, he's good in practice, and when the game is slow. Ide smiled compassionately. It seemed that Satoshi-kun really couldn't perform well when it counted. Well, he was usually good. When everybody expected him to perform, he couldn't. I didn't think it was because of nervousness. He just couldn't do it. It's a perfect fit for Satoshi-kun's character. He seems calm at first glance, but he's actually slow. Numerically speaking, you're a great player, but you need to be able to hit the ball even when things get serious. That's why you were an easy out in the match with the Ukita Jaguars the other day. Shut up, I know that. If he'd been able to hit the ball then, he would have been a hero. What a shame. The hit could have put the offense into the lead, or at least given them an extension. That was when Satoshi-kun came up to bat. Ide wanted him to live up to everybody's expectations. But statistically, that wasn't likely to happen. Yet Ide insisted on giving him a chance, in spite of the fact that all the team members had suggested a pinch hitter. It would have been perfect if you could have hit it. Why didn't you? Why can't you hit the ball in a situation where it really matters? There was nothing I could do. I know I'm weak in a situation like that. I thought a pinch hitter was a better idea too. It's not about the match, it's about you, Satoshi-kun. You need to be more aggressive. Shouldn't you have thought the opposite way? Shouldn't you have insisted that you'd come up to bat no matter what everybody else said? Can't believe you wanted to give away the chance to some pinch hitter. Why are you so weak like that? Alright, Shion. That's what I'm always telling him. I know that's one of his good points too, but you can be a gentleman at other times, but when playing games, you should be a demon. I think all men should have those two sides to them. You need to let your demon out, Satoshi-kun. You're native to Hinamizawa, so never forget that you have the demon's blood running through your veins. Are you listening, Satoshi-kun? I am. I'm not sure, but what aren't you sure about? We're talking about you. So, whoa. Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head. He looked delighted for some reason. A blush immediately spread across my face. I didn't know how to respond. You gave me advice, right? Thanks. I'll do my best. Hey, don't you try to fool me. I'm not. I'm just happy that you care about me. So many boingers. just, you know, it's just sploosh. I couldn't resist his hand. I couldn't help mumbling like he does. Satoshi-kun ran back to the field, leaving me red as a beet. Do you feel good when you have your head stroked? Depends. If it were you, I'd have to teach you a new martial arts technique. What a shame. Alright, everyone, gather around. Why don't you split into groups and have a practice match? Cannot unload my thoughts. It's just the boings. The Hinamizawa Fighters are sort of a lazy team. The members gather simply to enjoy playing baseball, not to fight for victory. The Okonomiya Titans use this field too, but they practice on a different day of the week. They always train hard using dumbbells and stuff. Our team split into two groups and started a match, retaining their loose atmosphere. I'll keep track of the score. Coach, you have a pencil? Thanks for helping out. Here. I took the pencil and the clipboard. I didn't know how to differentiate between recording hits and errors at first, but by now I was used to it. Show me what you got, Satoshi-kun. Oh, maybe it'll be too much pressure if I cheer for you too excessively. Just do okay then. That doesn't sound very encouraging either. Do your best. Time passed slowly that Sunday. Huge white clouds appeared in the sky. It made me feel healthy. Humans are born to be active under the sun. One of the parents was acting as umpire today, so Irie sat on the bench with me. He shouted words of encouragement to the kids while they ran to their positions. Any other baseball coach would constantly berate them, but he was much more generous, like a kindergarten teacher. He let the kids have fun while watching over them. For other baseball players, it might look a little naive. I'm surprised you guys can do well with only a small amount of practice. Kids in Hinamizawa romp around every day, so the amount of exercise they get surpasses that of the city kids. Besides, too much training is not always effective. Wow, you think completely differently from the Okonomiya Titans. I can understand why their coach hates you. It's not about being right. Matches exist for someone to win after all. So prioritizing victory certainly isn't wrong. I think it's admirable to aim for victory together. But the goal of our team doesn't happen to be victory, that's all. The Hinamizawa Fighters and the Okonomiya Titans have been rivals for a long time. Both teams share the same baseball field, for one thing. And originally there was only one team, but the people living in Hinamizawa left and made their own. Anyhow, we were rivals. The Okonomiya Titans were strictly about winning, and the Hinamizawa Fighters were just about having fun. Surprisingly, our scores weren't that different. Hey, Firefruit! Are those emotes? Oh, are those yours? Oh, Cone Carnage. Hug. T. And then there's yours. Nice. How's it going, Firefruit? Surprisingly, our scores weren't that different, which meant our team had something they didn't. Even though I couldn't put it into words, I knew what made that happen. Master Mode is so hard in Terraria. Yeah, it is. 20 damage from a slime, and then 40 from a vulture, and then like dying in 2 hits to zombies. Oh, it's a pain, for sure. But I am looking forward to trying out more of a journey mode, so that'll be fun. Knew what made that happen. Hey, Team 1, no slacking. You can make up the 2-point difference pretty easily. I don't know what journey mode is. It's kind of like a Minecraft's creative mode, except you can't duplicate and conjure anything immediately. You have to actually get the item and then research it through it's like this little bunny icon. And then you research it, and then once you finish researching it, then you can duplicate it as much as you like. So it's pretty fun. You can also toggle God mode, fast forward time, turn on the weather, all this other stuff. So it's pretty good. I don't know if it's helps. I don't know if you can get achievements through that mode, but I remember the Master Angler quest achievement, like the 200 quests, that one. It used to be 0.7% of players had it, and then I guess after the update, or I haven't checked since when, but now it's been 1.9%. So people are getting it somehow, and maybe it's through journey mode. Runs my hand through my recently cut fresh hair. You got a haircut, Gus? My hair is still growing since last November. I did shave back in January, but I haven't cut my hair since November. So it's been interesting. Hey, Team 1, no slacking. You can make up a 2-point difference pretty easily. Team 2, no slacking either. Still, some parents would criticize their coach for being too lenient. But still others would strongly agree with him. Which side would I take? The latter? Couldn't really say for sure. The reason for this was that Irie had an obnoxious habit of sexual harassment. In particular, he had a fascination with maids, but I should talk about that some other time. Aren't you a murderer in this game? That was chapter 3, but also probably this chapter as well. Also chapter 1. Chapter 2, we weren't. we weren't a murderer. Chapter 4, we also weren't a murderer. So it's kind of like off and on, I guess. I did. My friend who's a hairstylist cut it. Drove across the city just to get it because I was losing my mind. That's fair. Yeah, I do run into an issue where it's like too hot. My fans aren't satisfying. They're not cutting it. But it's been what? 1 to 7 months? Yeah, we'll get by. We'll get it cut eventually. Satoshi-kun let the ball pass twice to see its trajectory, then hit it on the third pitch and ran to first base. Oh, he did it. He's so good when he's relaxed. In the beginning, he used to get tired very easily. He's improved quite a lot since then. He really does look kind of like a bookworm. I wonder why he started playing baseball in the first place. All the other kids joined the baseball team loved baseball. They'd go out to play in the fields outside of practice. That's why they all had an aptitude for it. But Sis never said that Satoshi-kun exercises intensively in school. Or anywhere else. He only likes to read. That's why I didn't understand why he started playing for this team to begin with. Also, I had to pay her in takeout, or she wouldn't let me into her place. That's fair. It's a even trade, right? That's because I invited him. Is that so? You recruited him? Did you notice some sort of hidden talent? Excuse me, can I have a cup of barley tea? Thank you. Bought the big bowl? What kind of big bowl? What'd you get? Chipotle? Idiot asked for tea in a suspicious manner. Is there gameplay or is it just reading? It's just reading. There is one gameplay thing, but that happened one time, and that was a anomaly. But for the most part, it's just a sound novel, so we're just reading along, which is fine. That's the way they measure the order sizes. The big bowl. Gotcha. While I constantly joked around, I knew he was actually a very mature person. I assumed he was trying to evade my question. Big bowl is the biggest option, so she can make multiple meals out of it. That's fair. That's smart. Yeah, have leftovers for later. I assumed he was trying to evade my question. Is there a particular reason? The idiot pretended he didn't hear me, but I pressed him on it. In response, he shrugged and began answering the question. I think you might be able to guess. What would be Mion Sonozaki's guess? I quickly searched through the data that I had on Satoshi-kun. I came up with Satoshi-kun's family circumstances. He lost his parents in an accident a year ago. Since then, he's been having a tough time at his uncle's home. Is the dog barking? Guess so. It's not my dog, it's the neighbor's, but it's pretty loud. So he invited him so that he could vent. Sports are great. There he goes again. You can free yourself through exercise. I thought that as long as he concentrated on something else, he could forget about his troubles at home. He's usually sort of a daydreamer, zoning out all the time. Is he still stressed? I knew Satoshi-kun must be suffering even though he didn't look like it. But Mion Sonozaki never pays attention to things like that, and I had to act like she does. Satoshi-kun got really sick after his uncle took him into his custody. He had many clinical symptoms, but the causes were unknown. Because of the abuse. Satoshi-kun often got sick after he was taken to his uncle's custody. He suffered from fatigue and migraines. He suffered from a lack of energy and sleeplessness. The coach, Dr. Idiot, soon realized Satoshi-kun was suffering from a psychological disorder. Most of the people in Hinamizawa knew how bad Satoshi-kun's environment was. It was natural for him to become sick, because he entered that bad environment right after his parents' deaths. Did the stream pause? Okay. Hojo-san cannot express himself freely. Whether it's crying or simply being agitated, he's not good at handling those emotions. That's true. I can't imagine him being angry or crying. Did you know Hojo-san's mother had been married a few times already? Yeah. I know a little bit about that. Satoshi-kun's mother had married a number of men over the years. That meant Satoshi-kun had several stepfathers. He can't deal with strangers coming to his home multiple times, so he was forced to be mature. Satoshi-kun is mentally underdeveloped. He isn't aware of it himself, though. Didn't have enough time to cry, laugh, and throw tantrums in his childhood. He was forced to become a grown-up in just a short time. That doesn't sound right. Children have to behave like children in order to grow. There's nothing positive about being forced to become an adult. Not only was Satoko's current relationship with her aunt conspicuously terrible, I heard that her relationships with her previous stepfathers weren't good either. Satoko always caused problems. Satoshi-kun would always step in to protect her. Thought his physical symptoms came from stress. His body was trying to warn him. That's why Ida invited Satoshi-kun onto the baseball team. He told Satoshi that he needed a new member, or something like that. He hesitated at first, but after I talked to him at the clinic a few times, he began to open up to me. First, I invited him to come see the practice. Then I suggested that he try batting. I eased him into it. Sports worked excellently for Satoshi-kun. His health quickly improved, and he started to become interested in baseball. He practiced batting. He was soon able to swing beautifully, and he learned how to see the trajectory of the ball. I can imagine that. He likes to read, so he must have read a book titled How to Play Baseball or something like that. He's become a good batter very quickly. He's put forth a lot of effort, but I wish he could actually hit when it comes down to the wire too. Are you guys close? I think so. Talks to me about his problems, so I guess that's a sign of trust. I felt a bit jealous of how confidently Ida said that. While Satoshi-kun and I were friends, we weren't so close that we'd open up to each other like that. Oh, are you jealous? Eh? About what? Taken aback, I blushed. Ida started laughing at me. Please stay as his good friend. Well, yeah, I'm trying. Didn't know what I was saying. You know, regarding Hojo-san, he seems a little sick again lately. What? Whack. The ball flew to the left, but the left fielder managed to catch it. It seemed that the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had gotten worse lately. It was obvious his sickness had something to do with that. Her aunt is bullying Satoko-chan in a terrible way. She's become worn out after all that. And so Satoshi-kun is also worn out from covering for Satoko, isn't he? I wasn't interested in Satoko, so I switched the subject back to Satoshi-kun. Didn't know much about Satoko. I knew that she was a big part of Satoshi-kun's life, but I'd never been interested in her until today. She must have been building up self-esteem and taking care of her unreliable brother. That was all I knew about her. But considering Satoshi-kun's personality, even that goofiness of his might have been an act. Maybe he was trying to make her feel good about herself by letting her take care of him, if only unconsciously. When he's alone, he's surprisingly strong. I realized that only recently, so I couldn't help but think that his whole life is constantly affected by Satoko. Satoshi-kun managed to get along with his stepfathers even though he experienced some stress. He was even getting along with his aunt. But in order to protect Satoko, he always had to step in and suffer. I didn't really know anything about Satoko, but I had to admit, I felt hostile toward her. I felt jealous because she was monopolizing him. It seems that their aunt has been tyrannizing Satoko-chan even more lately. That must be what's causing Satoshi-kun's sickness. Ida heaved a sigh. As he said, Satoshi-kun had been absent a few times lately. He seemed a bit tired too. He looked normal He looked normal when around everybody else, but he looked a bit depressed when he was alone. So you invited him to join the team to relieve his stress, didn't you? Yes, that's right. But he looks stressed again now. How can we save him this time? I don't know. Irie smiled powerlessly. Yes, land on Broadway. I want to monopolize too. I have 3 hotels on that space, JP. Did you land on Broadway? Oh no. That's because was there Broadway? Monopoly. She was monopolizing him. Have I played Monopoly in a while? I want to say it since my California trip. 12 years ago. I couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed about that, because Satoshi-kun put his trust in him. Just between you and me, Satoshi-kun recently told me that he wanted to leave the team. Eh? How come? Playing on Broadway late game is a death sentence. So much money. Gotta get it first. He claimed he was tired of it. That's what he said. But I believe he actually wants to spend more time with Satoko-chan. He thinks that Satoko-chan might end up being tortured while he's at practice. I think he's concerned about that. I was left speechless for a while. Satoko again. Satoko. Man, she's getting upset with Satoko. Why did Satoshi-kun have to sacrifice so much for her? Just by ignoring her, his stress would melt away. Of course, I knew he couldn't do that. If that were the case, then the blame lay with his little sister. I knew how badly she'd been treated, but that only happened because she made things worse for herself. It was her fault that she couldn't establish a decent relationship with their aunt. If Satoko were more mature, like Satoshi-kun, her home life wouldn't have gotten so bad. Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer those indirect blows. Blaming the sis. Oh man, her obsession. In the meantime, the baseball team's practice match had become one-sided. It wasn't even worth watching anymore. The members of the losing team were just scooting off. The sky had turned cloudy too. It was depressing. Didn't look like it'd rain soon, though. The gray sky hadn't brought along any cool air. It just felt disgusting. Irie became quiet. He was looking down around his feet. I, meanwhile, just stared at Satoshi-kun. To me, he didn't look active anymore. He was once able to enjoy playing baseball, and he felt fine. But he got sick again, just because the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had deteriorated. I couldn't help but say it. Shouldn't we do something about Satoko instead? It was just a murmur, but Irie had definitely caught it. What? What do you mean, Sonozaki-san? It's not that complicated. If Satoko were stronger, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to deal with the stress. I think Satoko is the cause of everything. You shouldn't have said that. I don't know about that. Yes, you do. If she didn't cause any trouble, he wouldn't have to step in, would he? He wouldn't have to take over in the fight between Satoko and her aunt, right? Satoshi-kun never got scared of any trouble. No matter how formidable the enemy, he'd bravely stand up to protect the weak. I knew that because I could vividly imagine it. Jeez. Whenever their aunt chides Satoko, Satoshi-kun steps in to protect her. The aunt probably didn't like it. Though Satoshi-kun didn't have to fight, the aunt would attack him anyway. The fight would then be between the aunt and him. Satoko might then tease the aunt by sticking out her tongue, hiding behind his back, and pretending to be scared. She'd never think about how deeply he was being hurt. Because of Satoko, Satoshi-kun had become cornered and stressed. I'm surprised to hear this from you, Sonozaki-san. I thought you were Satoko-chan's friend, her classmate. A big sister kind of figure. I thought you'd always be on her side. But what you said is surprising to me. Irie looked at me suspiciously. I could tell what he was thinking about me. I'd said too much. Imagine having your character name simply being the aunt. I don't think I said her name, right? We have the uncle's name, which is Tepe, but yeah, I don't know. Mion Sanozaki and Satoko Hojo are friends. They're close, so Mion should have been encouraging her. After the situation at home got tougher, that's what Mion was supposed to do. I had totally forgotten about that, and spoken as myself. It's only natural that EDA would give me a suspicious look. He might end up changing his impression of Mion Sanozaki entirely. I have to apologize to her about this, and ask her to put things right. I totally messed up. Even so, I didn't think I'd said anything wrong. I'd objectively looked at the situation and made a modest proposal. To be honest, I was simply afraid that he might leave the team. I couldn't go to the school in Hiyamazawa, so the baseball field was the only place where I could see him. I could even say that he was my reason for living. Jesus. That's right, I was in love with him. But I wasn't going to tell him how I felt, for I was satisfied just being by his side. I certainly couldn't ask for anything more. After all, I couldn't reveal my true identity. I had to pretend to be Mion in order to live in Okinomiya. I thought that maybe I should leave Okinomiya in order to be free. But that's stupid. No matter how tough my life might be, I prefer to be here, with Satoshi-kun stroking my head every now and then. Why did I love him that much? I read about it in some manga once. You don't need a reason to be in love. I was surprised at myself for being like this. Calm down, Shion. I breathed out slowly, then held my breath, trying to slow my throbbing heart. I felt a bit calmer. At that point, a clear thought came to my head. I want to be with Satoshi-kun. So, I want him to stay on the team. So, I want to get rid of his concerns and his stress. So what? So, what can I do to achieve all that? My head started to cool down as I heard the umpire shout, "Game, set, and match!" Boing. Was there a boing? Or an implied boing? Oh man. Being Shion is suffering. Some days I see him, some days I don't. A clear sky gets cloudy, and rain will always stop eventually. I thought his absence was just like that, but he was actually on the verge of the breakdown. Notebook, page 19. Oh, I'm applying it, JP. I see. The rainy season was just around the corner, and the air had become so humid that my shirt stuck to my skin. It had been a few weeks since Satoshi-kun stopped showing up for baseball practice. Damn. I looked for him as soon as I arrived at the field. He's not here yet. Did I get here too early? I want to see him playing in the field right when I get here. I had started arriving late because of those feelings. However, he wasn't here today either. I didn't even bother hiding my disappointment anymore. Everybody knew by now how I felt. The team members from Mion's class came over to try and console me, but I shooed them away. What's going on, Sonozaki-san? Are you feeling sick? Even Irie couldn't comfort me. I was aware that he too knew why I was like this. I'm going home. I don't feel like watching the practice today. Look, we're having a meeting with the Okinomiya Titans later. I wanted you to be there because you're our manager. Don't treat me like a manager. I never agreed to be one. Irie looked down, not knowing what to say. Alright. Please help us again when you feel like it. Maybe I won't be coming back. It's an extra word. If you really need a manager, look for somebody else. Record player scratch. Wait, I thought this was a horror game? Where's the horror? You gotta wait. If you really need a manager, please look for somebody else. Please do come again, whenever you feel like it. Satoshi-kun will be sad if you're not here when he comes back. I ignored him and turned around. I had already set up my schedule with Mion, so I didn't have to ask her every time anymore. I tried to contact her a couple times to ask how Satoshi-kun was doing in school, but I hadn't been able to get through to her. Apparently, the hag had sensed that I might be in contact with Sis. In other words, Sis was being watched. As a result, it hasn't been easy to contact her. Kasai, who had been helping me contact her, seemed to also have been marked. People knew he was loyal to me. I hadn't seen him for a while either. All I could do was wonder how Satoshi-kun was doing. I was frustrated because there was no way for me to know. My head was filled with worries, but something surprised me out of the blue. Somebody called out to me when I was about to leave the field on my bike. Oh, hey. Mi-chan, hello. I'd never seen this girl before. Luckily, she called me Mi-chan. There's only one person who refers to Mion that way, as far as I know. Rena. I'm surprised to see you here. Her name is Reina, Ryugo. Her real name is Reina, but she wants to be called Rena, so that's what we call her. She moved here in April. I had some information on her, but it was all ambiguous. Sis was still a bit uncertain about her, since she's so new. It was hard for me to handle someone like that. I didn't know how to act around her as Mion, so I decided to pretend to be in an obvious sulky mood. That way she wouldn't talk to me as much, assuming that Mion was simply feeling bad. Well, that's how I really am anyway. Are you going home, Mi-chan? Yeah, not feeling well. Sorry. Let's go together then. I want to say that I'd rather be alone, but there's only one road to Hinamizawa, so asking me alone would look odd. The only way to not seem suspicious would be to walk home with her. Yeah, let's go. Rena quietly nodded. I unlocked my bike. Mi-chan, do you have an umbrella? Nope. Might rain soon, so let's hurry a bit, since you don't have one. Oh, Rena. As she predicted, we were attacked by pouring rain on our way. We ended up taking shelter in a small shack in front of a bus stop. It's pouring, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long since the sky over there is clear. Yeah. One-word answers. I heard the sound of rain pattering on the rooftop and the raindrops jumping into puddles. It sounded loud, but it made me feel strangely calm. I zoned out for a moment, then Rena talked to me while looking up at the rainy sky. I was worried about you, because you looked so down. All the baseball team members knew I was depressed because I hadn't seen Satoshi-kun recently. Most of them attend the school in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't surprising that she knew as well. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. I hadn't been able to contact Sis these past few weeks, but I was sure she had an idea of how I feel about Satoshi-kun, and how I would feel if he didn't come to his baseball practice. Sis was probably pretending to act a little depressed during her day-to-day in Hinamizawa to avoid creating a big gap between our moods. But neither of us knew the details about the other right now, so she wouldn't be able to answer if others asked her what was wrong. She'd only be able to say, leave me alone. That might lead more people to become worried. Rena must have thought Mia was depressed. It must be why she came all the way to see me. She must known what was going on because she knew that I was at the baseball field. Do you feel lonely because Satoshi-kun is avoiding us? Both of them. Having deduced what had been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said, he had been distancing himself from others lately because of exhaustion. That's what it sounded like, at least. He looked like he was very worried about Satoko-chan. I think he's really on edge. I feel bad for him. He really cares about his sister. He has a lot of courage. What I'd said sounded hollow, as I knew too well how much of a burden Satoko had become. But I think you'd feel even worse if you also looked that depressed, I think. I don't want that. I know, but if you really don't, then you need to smile for him, otherwise he might really feel cornered. I know you're strong. You can smile, even if it's just pretend. So I want you to smile, no matter what. You know that lies can become the truth sometimes. What she was saying, in a nutshell, was this. But Satoshi-kun and Satoko were totally wiped out. If Mion was also depressed, even though she's the sort of person who usually lightens the mood, their situation would be stuck in a vicious cycle. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. She must be more mature than she looks. Sis told me that she was a funny girl with a few bad habits, but she seemed to have another, very mature side to her. Do you love Satoshi-kun? Yeah. Though I shouldn't have told her that. I immediately responded. In that case, why don't you smile? Rena smiled herself. I believe Satoshi-kun will feel better if he sees your smile. I know you feel powerless now, but your smile will give him strength. I know what you're saying, but it's not that easy. Rena giggled and nodded. He'll come back after he's done with his part-time job. His part-time job? I almost asked that question, but I managed to stop myself. From the tone of Rena's voice, it sounded like it was something everyone knew. His part-time job, huh? I wonder when it will end. Until he has enough money, I guess. It'll finish by Satoko-chan's birthday, at the latest. Right, for the bear. Was it the bear? Some toy that Satoko wanted. Also, hold on. It feels like the squeak chair is like getting squeakier. Try to figure out what was going on from what she said. I had to listen very carefully to uncover the whole picture. Satoshi-kun seemed to be working in order to make some money. I don't think it's easy to find a job when you're still in school. Sis might have had something to do with it. His job only seemed temporary. And it seemed to have something to do with Satoko's birthday. Squeak chair. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. Satoshi was working and saving up to buy his little sister something expensive for her birthday. He was trying to comfort her. Even though he was still torn up himself. Satoko again. Satoshi-kun was already worn out because of her, and he was now working for her sake, even though he was exhausted. How stupid. It'd be easier for him to just forget about Satoko. Can't forget about family. Well, I mean, sometimes. Oh shit, I didn't realize. Okay. I was startled when I realized Rena was looking straight into my eyes. She was smiling, but her eyes looked creepy. I never voiced what I was thinking, but she was looking at me as though she'd figured out that I was playing Satoko. Kicked up, you leave. It's just a face. It's no big deal. She beamed when she noticed my fear. She smiled as though she understood that I thought that way because of love. She was giving me the creeps. I could hear thunder roar in the distance. It sounded like an explosion. The rain began to pick up. You feel jealous of Satoko-chan because she monopolizes Satoshi-kun? I avoided answering immediately this time. But Rena seemed to know what I was thinking already. I wouldn't be upset even if you did. That's just how it is when you're in love. Thanks. Lol thunder, that was a bomb. Something's going on in the background. You've been encouraging Satoko-chan despite that. That's admirable. Of course I have. She's my friend. It sounded so fake. I felt like spitting on the floor. All we can do is encourage Satoko-chan and Satoshi-kun. I don't know how to save them from their situation. Satoko is relying on Satoshi-kun way too much. If she were stronger, he wouldn't have to suffer in her place. Hahaha, you sound really straightforward. Rena nodded with an unflinching smile, even though my remarks could be taken as harsh. What was this mysterious girl thinking? It was difficult to get a read on her. Maybe Satoshi-kun feels that way a little too. Eh? Rena kept smiling, but her smile looked strangely cold. I think he's tired of protecting Satoko-chan, and he's aware of that. Given the type of person Rena is, I don't think she'd say something if she wasn't certain of it. Because of that, she must have been confident in what she just told me. Why do you think that? He said so. What? Satoshi-kun secretly confessed to her. Rena asked me to keep it that way. Satoshi-kun told me that he felt tired of protecting Satoko-chan. He was feeling guilty, though. I don't think he would say something like that. But, however, it wasn't likely that Rena was lying. I just met her, so I didn't know what made me feel that way. But my hunch told me that she was telling the truth. I heaved a huge sigh. Oh, it's this song, right? Satoshi-kun must have gotten so tired that he couldn't help telling someone. Even so, even if he thought that way, he wouldn't tell somebody so easily. Maybe Rena led him to do so. She might be capable of something like that. I don't understand. This girl. It had only been a little while since we met, but I'd already started talking about something I was keeping deep inside of me. Does she have some kind of supernatural power to reach into people's minds and drag out what they're thinking? It suddenly hit me that I was sitting with this creepy girl in a tiny shack. I've been dragged into her strange world. I don't think Sis has realized Rena's real personality. She thinks Rena is just a funny girl with some strange habits. She would have told me if she knew. I guess Satoshi-kun must trust you a lot. I guess Satoshi-kun must trust you a lot if he confessed that to you. I'm a little jealous. It's not because he trusts me. It's because I've experienced the same thing. You what? Did you also have to cover for your siblings once? Those footsteps always followed me. They even came to my bedside and looked down at me. Huh? Sorry, Rena. What are you talking about? I turned around to face her and got the chills. Though she was smiling, her eyes looked ice cold. I trembled and froze, with my eyes open. Have you experienced anything like that? Haha, I guess not. Probably. Rena kept laughing self-derisively. I tried to figure out what she was saying. Have you ever thought of leaving Hinamizawa and moving to a big city? Have you ever thought of doing something like that? Didn't know how to respond. Rena waited for my answer, urging me to speak with her silence. No. I love it here. Oh. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I knew that. It didn't seem like a good idea to lie to her. Rena has some kind of power I can't grasp. She can read people's minds just by seeing the slightest change in their expressions. Like that show Lie to Me! So I had to tell her the truth. Horror. Yeah, it's just fine. She's just looking at you, creepily. You'll be okay if that's true. Oishiro-sama won't get mad at you. Oishiro-sama? Oishiro-sama. That's Hinamizawa's garden deity. I couldn't understand why she mentioned that name. My mind stopped for a moment. That's right. Oishiro-sama. She calmly repeated the name as if trying to teach me something. Yeah, I remember. Oishiro-sama never allows heathens to desecrate Hinamizawa. Oishiro-sama never allows villagers to leave either. Those are the rules. Slowly, I recalled the fear of the curse which supposedly caused the dismemberment, murder, and the death of the Hojo couple. When I was sent to the institution, I had this fear. I was scared that if I went to that faraway boarding school, I'd fall under the curse. But I should be okay. I escaped from the school and returned to my hometown, to Okonomiya, to be precise. But it should be okay according to the kids' rules, because I love Hinamizawa. The hag forces me to live this suffocating life, but I still chose to stay in this place. I don't believe I'm breaking Oishiro-sama's rules. Even though the Sonozaki family had selfishly banished me to a remote place, I came back here anyway. Oishiro-sama should even bless me for that. I guess I'm trying to convince myself that the curse doesn't apply to me. But I think I'm still afraid of it. I love this place, so I don't think I qualify for Oishiro-sama's curse. Oh no, is that us? You could even call me a model villager. Yes, I think so too. But I'm not sure about Satoshi-kun. Why? Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away, even if only unconsciously. Eh? I gave an inaudible cry. I was feeling sad that Satoshi-kun hadn't shown up for practice. He still lived in Hinamizawa, so I'd never even considered the thought of him going away. Are you saying that? He wants to skip town? Yes. He's not aware of it himself, though. He probably didn't notice it until Oishiro-sama stood by his bed. He still had no idea what she was talking about. I continued trying to figure out what she was saying. Everything he's going through is a sign of Oishiro-sama's curse. You feel like someone is watching you from a distance and it follows you. Then it watches from right behind you. After that, you start hearing an extra footstep. It only happens outside at first, but you start hearing it even inside your house after a while. Then, Oishiro-sama keeps watching you even when you're sleeping in the dark, right by your side, waiting silently for you to admit your sin. Satoshi-kun told me he was having nightmares at first. So I asked him what kind of dreams he was having. And those dreams he was having, as it turned out, were just like mine. I warned him that the presence would become bigger. He'd hear an extra footstep and feel the presence watching him in his sleep. Told him to come to me if that ever happened. He must have been suspicious at first. But, just as I predicted, he started to feel Oishiro-sama's presence more strongly. He finally realized he could talk to me about it. Rena didn't look like she was joking. She just calmly told me what had been going on. I couldn't even move. I couldn't tell if her words were a joke or the truth. I could only feel stunned. I'm from Hinamizawa originally, but I moved to Ibaraki Prefecture right before I went to elementary school. However, when I couldn't adjust to my new environment, Oishiro-sama frequently started telling me to return to Hinamizawa in my head. But I couldn't do anything since I was just a little kid. I was forced to live there, though I felt threatened by Oishiro-sama's voice. Then... Rena paused. It looked like she didn't want to go into the details of what followed. In general, she confused me even more. Anyway, I was able to come back here in the end. Oishiro-sama forgave me. I haven't felt his presence anymore since then. Satoshi-kun is being subjected to the curse even though he's in Hinamizawa. Why? There can only be one reason. It's because he wishes to abandon Hinamizawa. Oishiro-sama won't allow that. After a series of inner monologues, he confessed. You know he's working part-time. Don't you? The teddy bear he's getting for Satoko-chan costs about 100,000 yen. That's a lot of money. And he's trying to get the money by her birthday. Have you noticed it yet? Think about it like this. If he had that amount of money, that'd be enough for him to run away somewhere far from here. He unconsciously started to think about that. About leaving Satoko-chan behind. But he'd feel very guilty. As he pointed out, Satoko-chan is a burden on him. He's not stupid, so he's aware of that. He just doesn't want to admit it, because he's the one who's supposed to protect his little sister. He's been struggling with himself. He thinks he's working to please Satoko-chan on her birthday. But he also feels that he might be deceiving himself because he unconsciously wants to skip town with that money. I don't think he should run away. Even if he did, he'd regret it for the rest of his life. Oishiro-sama knows that. That's why Oishiro-sama is trying to warn him. I hope Satoshi-kun stops thinking of abandoning Satoko-chan. He's working hard to make it to Satoko-chan's birthday, which is a couple of days after the Tanagashi festival. Oh wait, maybe that was us. He's pushing himself too hard. He believes it'll end when Satoko-chan's birthday comes. The curse keeps cautioning him, while he tries to figure out whether he should leave or continue protecting her. Oh no, maybe it was back to her. Whoops. After some random monologues, he confused. Random monologues? Monologues? The torrential rain didn't seem to want to stop. It kept pouring down the galvanized iron roof, producing a loud noise. Yet in the shack, it felt completely silent. What the hell was Rena talking about? I couldn't grasp even half of what she was saying. The only thing I had figured out is that Satoshi-kun was struggling confused and in lots of pain. He's suffering from Oishiro-sama's curse. And Rena has experienced that before? The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. Oishiro-sama's curse had struck 3 years in a row. There was no guarantee that it would strike a fourth time. Satoshi-kun was subject to Oishiro-sama's curse even now. Was he going to skip down? Was he going to be the next victim of Oishiro-sama's curse? Either way, he might disappear forever. Could I do something to prevent it? If I didn't do anything, it would all come to a hopeless end. End? I started feeling a sense of dread. I didn't buy the crazy story Rena told me. But if something really was happening to Satoshi-kun, which might bring about some kind of an end, I couldn't help feeling scared. It's true, isn't it? My instinct is always correct. I decided to contact Mion despite the danger. Mion got upset at first, but she had to listen to me. Sort of jumping ahead. Just leaving Rena. Sis, what's going on? It's Satoshi-kun. He looks really stressed out. Can't even talk to him. What do you mean? You don't know what's going on because you can't talk to him? Sorry. Sis, give me another chance to trade spots again. That's fine. But I'm kind of busy lately attending meetings for the festival. What are you planning to do? Another part-time job? I'm going to your school. Dun dun dun. I don't know if that's gonna work. Might be a little too risky. You ever seen new tips? Notebook page 21, notebook page 24. Possessed. Bus stop? Okay. Let's go to 21. Alright, I love random hellos. Hey, Magics. How's it going? Why don't I relate my encounter with that creeper girl in the rain? Her name is Rena Ryugu. Her real first name is Reina. I have no idea what kind of girl she really is. One thing is certain, she has no relation to the Sonozaki family. She has no relation to the three families as a whole either. The Ryugu family used to live in Hinamizawa, but then they moved to Ibaraki. That was before she went to elementary school. They returned to Hinamizawa some years later. Rena Ryugu said she came back because of Orishiro-sama told her to. I don't know what that means. She said it was the curse of Orishiro-sama. That Orishiro-sama had stalked her. I think that was probably a hallucination, but Satoshi-kun had been interested in that experience. She said that Satoshi-kun was also experiencing Orishiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun told her that he was being followed by some unknown existence. He was surprised to learn that Rena had the same experience before. What is Orishiro-sama's curse? Why did Rena and Satoshi-kun have a similar experience? I believe that means that somebody put them under surveillance. Somebody must be spying on the next victim of the curse. Since Rena and Satoshi-kun both blindly believed in Orishiro-sama's curse, they interpreted it as Orishiro-sama's presence. If paranoia kicked in, they'd feel as if they were experiencing paranormal phenomena. Judging from what Rena said, it seems that Satoshi-kun had been put on surveillance since long before Watanagashi. So, one question comes to mind. Why are they watching Rena? I'm assuming that this surveillance was placed on a victim to be of that year. If so, I don't understand why Rena went through it. Why did they watch her, even though she was living so far away? If she was considered somebody who abandoned the village, I could understand. But she didn't fall victim in the end. Maybe she was forgiven because she came back to Hinamizawa. I guess she still knows something I don't. Wait, what? Hold on. Oh, I think this is the log of the... Yeah. Contact sis. Well, I don't relate my encounter with that creepy girl. So this is Shion's notes. I guess she still knows something I don't. Well, I'm glad I checked the log before that. Didn't realize that would be the last line. Satoshi-kun looked terrible. When he went home, he had to mediate a fight between Sotoko and their aunt. He became mentally exhausted. He went to work every day. He became physically exhausted. He's no longer communicating with his classmates. He's either slept on his desk or has gone somewhere during lunch break. He used to be really gentle. It was painful to see him suffering like that. On top of all that, he was dealing with the curse of Oshiro-sama. He must have been completely, totally, and absolutely exhausted. That curse was a form of surveillance by those planning to victimize Satoshi-kun that year. That means that the other victim was in the same situation. Satoshi-kun's aunt had also been watched. Did she notice any presence? What about the others? Did the victims of the previous incidents also experience it? We need to investigate the facts in order to prove that the curse on Satoshi-kun was actually just surveillance. Is it surveillance? Paranoia? Or really the curse? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. What time is it? 2:15? 2:15. I wanted to go long, but actually I gotta head out. So, short stream. It's fine. We got through many chapters. Look at that. We got through 2.5. It's fine. But yeah, I guess tomorrow we'll start chapter 5. How many achievements are there? I wonder. 16. Okay. So there's like 14 chapters, give or take, plus epilogue. Seems right. But yeah, we'll continue this another time. Oh, tomorrow, of course. It's not like we're playing anything else. But yeah, thanks again to everyone for stopping by. Thanks again to Tom for the 5 bits. And yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.